Hi guys, so I think it's a good idea for us to go over a couple of the homework problems. So I'm going to get through this one, see how long it takes, and then I have one more up my sleeve to kind of give you some insight. I will be solving these problems along with you, which is kind of fun. Okay, so you should know this is the Dairy Queen question. This was a homework problem, and you're asked to plot the shortest route from Dairy Queen to Tishwa Road, because this is Tishwa Road right over here. So the shortest distance should be on the perpendicular. On the perpendicular, on the what, guys? Yep, the perpendicular. So the first thing you want to do is find the slope of line Tishwa. So the slope of line Tishwa, you're going up 1, 2, and to the right 1, 2, 3. So the slope of this is equal to, I said 2/3, right? Because I went up 2 to the right 3. So that means a slope perpendicular is going to equal -3/2. So from Dairy Queen, you're going to plot the slope until you hit the line, okay? So I want to go that way, so I'm going to go up 3, but I'm going to go left. Okay, so I'm going to go up 3, to the left 2, go up 1, 2, 3, and to the left, and voila, I can't believe it. I hit this beautiful point right over here. Okay, so I am going to draw a line. You guys should use a ruler and go from there. So you're trying to find the shortest distance. So this is the point 6, -2. So this is 6, -2. Is that point. So it says plot the shortest distance. Now we want to find the length of the shortest distance. So that should tell you guys that you have to make that right triangle and use Hmwk to get that distance. So I'm just kind of doing my vertical distance and I'm doing my horizontal distance. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 4. And I'm going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is 6, right? Let me count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So we're doing 36 and 16 is 52, so that's going to be equal to the square root of 52. It says to round to the nearest tenth. I should not put an equal, it says a squiggle. So if I do the square root of 52, I'm going to pull my little calculator out. Second square root, where's my square root button? Where are you? Okay, square root of 52. We know it's going to be a little bit more than 7. It says to round to the nearest tenth, so it's going to be 7.2 kilometers from this to the Dairy Queen. So this is the square root of 52 and or 7.2. So it says if Michael lives on Tishwa Road and he lives the closest to Dairy Queen, then where does he live? Well, he lives at 6, -2, because as we found that point earlier on by doing that. So now if Michael is biking at a rate of 0.66 kilometers per minute, how long is it going to take him to get to Dairy Queen? So as we did this before, we said that distance is equal to rate times time. So distance is equal to rate times time. Rate is how fast you're going, your speed, i.e. your velocity. So, and we want to find out how long it takes him, so that means we're looking for time. And we know the distance because we just found it. So the distance is, and I prefer that we use the square root because it's the exact value, so we can go from there. So instead of plugging 7.1 into for our distance, I'd rather us use the square root of 52. And our rate is 0.66, so it's 0.66 times time. Now this is in 0.66 kilometers per minute. So this is kilometers, this is in kilometers per minute. So when we find our time should be in what units? If you have to pause and turn to somebody, tell that person what you would do, okay? And while you're thinking about that, you would just simply, this is algebra 1, you divide by 0.66, you take that calculator out, you do the square root of 52, close the parentheses out, guys, before you press divided by, and then do 0.66, and you come up with 10 point, I think you're going to go 10.93, what I just gave it away, 10.93, I hope you said minutes. So it takes him 10.93 minutes there. So this is going to be 10.93 minutes. And the reason that we knew it was minutes is because it's in kilometers per minute. If it was kilometers per hour, it would take 10.93 hours. If it takes 10.93 hours, to me, it's not even worth it to go to Dairy Queen. I'd go someplace closer to eat what I want. Okay. So Heather, because she's a sassy frass, she lives over at -60. She lives over here. Okay. No, 6 -0, -60. She lives all the way over here. And her claim to fame is that she says that she can beat Michael to Dairy Queen. I think I put a typo in here, you guys. I think this should have been, I'm going to put in, if you're watching this, you're smart enough to watch this. I don't want to put it up there because clearly she's way further. I think I meant to put this as 0, -6. So it should be on the y-axis and not the x-axis. So, oops. Sorry about that. So go fix that on yours now. And if you're watching this, you knew that I want to change this guy to sorry, this should be 0, -6, okay? So Heather seems to think that she could beat Michael to the DQ. So if I did that, so that means this is her distance to the Dairy Queen from here to here, okay? And she is biking faster than he is, so I wonder if she can do it. So she has her own thing over here, so what you guys should recognize is that you have to make, let me see if I can, I'll use black. So you have to make your own new right triangle. So you have your own new legs to your new right triangle because that green line is your new hypotenuse. So that's going to be 2. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is, the legs are 2 by 10, so that's 104. So this is the square root of 104. That's how far away she lives, okay? That's the first thing that we had to find out. So we know that her distance is equal to the square root of 104. Now her claim to fame is she's like, listen, you know, I'm biking faster, even though I have a further distance to go, I can still beat you. That doesn't look good to me. Sorry, Heather, I don't know, but if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So if you do your distance is equal to rate times time, her distance is the square root of 104, and her rate is 0.84. Is that right? Yes, it is. So get those calculators out because you're going to do 104 divided by 0.84. So square root of 104 divided by 0.84. So let me get my calculator. Square root of 104. Don't forget to close out that parentheses, yo. Okay. Divided by 0.84, and it takes her. Ooh, sister. Ooh, she got beat bad. So it equals 12.14 minutes. And it says, what is their difference in time in seconds? All right, okay. It's a lot of seconds that it's difference. So we have 12.14 that we're going to subtract from 10.93. Whoops, don't forget that decimal. So it's 1.21 minutes. So it's 1.21 minutes, okay? So the 1 minute I already know is 60 seconds, right? Okay, and then 0.21 minutes, 0.21 minutes, if I wanted to find out how many seconds there are, I would just simply multiply it by 60 because there's 60 seconds in a minute. So 0.21 times 60, friends, is 12.6 seconds. So you have 12.6 seconds. So the total is 72.6 seconds. So that's how much he beat her by. So he beat her bad. He probably should have just bought ice cream for everybody. You know what I'm saying? He got there first. Maybe it should have been whoever got there first. It was first. But if, like, let's say hypothetically, oops, you actually did do it from this point and you went all the way over there, you know, you could easily like do your right triangle and then do your distance that way and say, you know what, kid, you seriously have no shot at all to get there first. But it's all good. And if you were biking like a bat out of hell, yeah, then you would be, but you're still clearly biking faster. But Michael got there sooner because Michael lives closer. What does that tell you, right? Shortest distance is on the perpendicular. I'll be right back. All right, so we had the Chipotle. Oops, I forgot the L. I know somebody called me out for that. I forgot the Chipotle. The L in there should be a little L right there. You know, oops, let me change that. It should be an L. A little bit Chipotle. Is midway between the Taco Bell and the Wendy's, where they're all on the same street. Where is Wendy's located? Okay, so if that's the case, that means Chipotle must be the midpoint, right? And so if we want to do the midpoint, we can count up 1, 2, 3. So you're going up 3 and you're going to the right. Looks like 4 to me. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm so smart. So that means from Chipotle, you're going to go up 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to say that Wendy's is right there. Okay. All right, because we're going up 3 and to the right 4. So this is 3 and that's 4 because we're doing the same thing over and over again. So it says where's Wendy's located. If I look over here, I have 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going up 5. So I'm at 3, 5. Are you guys at 3, 5 also? I hope so. I'm going to change the color to pink because pink is pretty. So it says find the equation of the line that contains the Taco Bell and the Wendy's. Okay, well, if you look, I already have the slope of the line, right? Isn't that nice? I already have the slope of the line, but I have to be honest with you, I'm not sure where it passes the y-axis, so I have to do my y equals mx plus b. So if I have my y equals mx plus b, and I'm doing part b, I know that my slope is 3/4, so I already have that in my pocket, which is awesome. I can pick any point I want on this line. I can use -5, -1, or I can plug in -1, 2, or I can plug in my Wendy's 3, 5. I feel like plugging in -1, 2. So that means this is my x and this is my y that I'm going to plug into this equation. So I'm going to put 2 in for y. My slope is my m, so I know that's going to be 3/4 times my x-coordinate, which is -1, plus b. And the last time I checked, -1 times 3/4 was -3/4. So 2 equals -3/4 plus b, which means I'm adding 3/4 over here. So 2 plus 3/4 equals b. If you said the answer is 2 3/4, that's fine. That's great. So that means it's going to cross at, and it looks like it's, 2.75, right? And so therefore the equation of this line is y is equal to 3/4 x plus 2.75. I just feel like, I don't know why. Okay. So it says you want to live, so there's the equation of that line. Okay, so if you wanted to do it and make it, what is that, 11/4, I'm fine with that too. You want to live equidistant from Wendy's and Taco Bell. Where could you possibly live? Well, you clearly can't live at Chipotle, right? You can't. Sorry, you can't live there. So you want to find a place that would be the same distance away. And I hope, if you guys found points, I'm sure you went ahead and you found points, and you should have found something really interesting. First of all, if you want to live the same distance away, that means that if you recall, it would be on the perpendicular bisector. So I'm going to erase because I feel like that's in the way. So I'm going to erase these slopes and get them out of my way. So if you guys picked points on your line, I have to put that back over there because we have to keep Wendy's in there because we need Wendy's. So Wendy's is at 3,5, is that right? Yes. Okay. So 3,5. So this line is 3,5. Okay, so I know the slope of this line is 3/4. So if you guys found a point somewhere and you're like, oh, it's really cool, it's kind of nice. If you find the slope of that line, you should have recognized that the slope of that line is the opposite reciprocal of this guy. So you could have, graphed the perpendicular bisector. So I can go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, because the slope perpendicular is the opposite reciprocal. Or you could go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay? And if you connect the dots, and you'd extend that line and just keep going and going and going, you just keep going and going and going. I'm just too lazy to do anything else. You can find out that you can live anywhere you want along this line. And here's why. If you were to pick any point, so if I were to pick this point right here and I were to connect from here, and I was connect from, Taco Bell to Wendy's, I would create an isosceles triangle where this guy here is equal to that guy there. The same thing with Chipotle. And again, if I went down 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, I fit 3. I think I kind of butchered that. It should be down more this way. So I'm going to erase that. This is what happens when you don't put straight lines in things, guys. It gets a little crooked. That's why I like you to use rulers. So if you look at it, it could be anywhere you want here. And if I were to pick this point, getting back to what I was saying into the amazing point that I'm about to make, again, this would make an isosceles triangle because this length here is the same as that length there. So it's always going to be on the perpendicular bisector. So now it says find and graph the equation that represents that. So this is the equation. It's your perpendicular bisector. So it's the perpendicular bisector, number 1. And number 2, you want to find the equation of that line. So the thing is you know that the slope of this line is going to be the opposite reciprocal of that one. So you know that a slope perpendicular is going to be -4/3. And now, again, all you have to do this time, again, is pick any point on this curve, okay? And noticing that you always start from the midpoint when you're trying to graph your perpendicular bisector. You always start where? That's right, the midpoint, and you go from there. So I am going to use this point also to find out what it is, to find the y-intercept of the line. So I'm going to do my y equals mx plus b. And again, I'm going to put 2 in for y. This time I have -4/3 in for x times -1 plus b. So if I look over here, negative times a negative is a positive. Bad thing happening to a bad person is a good thing. So I get 2 equals 4/3 plus b. So then 2 minus 4/3 is equal to b. So 4/3, so this over 3 is 6/3. 6/3 minus 4/3 is 2/3. So that means that the equation of my line is dun, 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 y equals -4/3 x minus, or no, plus 2/3. Makes sense. Plus 2/3. And it should make sense that it's going to be a positive y-intercept. So you should always look at that and ask yourself, does my answer make sense? So this is the equation of your perpendicular bisector. And remember, your perpendicular bisector will always pass through your midpoint. And your perpendicular bisector will always create isosceles triangles from any point on that line.